Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the grey. Today's video is a Black Library review. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at one of the many publications brought out by Black Library and giving you our thoughts on the book, audio drama, whatever it happens to be. Now, I will say that we will try to keep this review to as spoiler free as possible, though there will obviously be points where we talk about things happening in the book. We will try to keep away from saying any of the major plot points, so you can go and read this book for yourself. We'll just give you our thoughts on whether or not we think it is something you may be interested in. So we'll use this video to instruct you on maybe is this sort of going to be a book that you would like to see. With that all said and out the way, let's get cracking on. Let's talk a little bit about the book that we have reviewed this time. In today's Black Library review, we're going to be checking out Hamilcar, Champion of the Gods by David Guymer. This one is narrated by Matthew Hunt in the audio version that just came out this past weekend, which I always listen to audio versions. I like to listen to them while I paint and do other hobby. This one I've been waiting for a long time to come out on audio. It has such a good reputation behind it. And I will say, the narration of this by Matthew Hunt, I don't think there could be anyone more perfect for the role of voicing Hamilcar. It's just absolutely well done. The narration of this is 10 out of 10. Matthew, you've done an absolutely amazing job at bringing this character to life. I can't imagine anyone else doing Hamilcar now. And so our story takes place after the Realm Gate Wars. Hamilcar is a famed hero of the Astral Templars, a Lord Castellan, a guardian of the people. However, when an ancient Skaven warlock turns his attention towards claiming Hamilcar's divine soul for his own, the bear-eater Hamilcar knows that he will have to call upon all of his martial prowess and uncanny wits just to simply survive, knowing that because his next death could very well be his last death ever, he will have to do everything he can just simply to survive. And so this book's purpose. This book really does start us off on the journey post-Realm Gate Wars for the Bear-Eater. Clearly the start of some grand adventure that will span more than just this simple story. We get a great part of both world building of the area of the story we are setting place in, and indeed Hamilcar's background. We get a good lot of character building for Hamilcar, and of course other key pieces in what I will assume is an ongoing story. We set up Hamilcar and set up many of his adventures to come, along with many of the enemies, allies, and those in between in the story as well. And so our main character is, of course, Hamilcar, Bear-Eater, Lord Castellan turned Knight Quester. Hamilcar, Bear-Eater, is a rather boisterous character. No one thinks more highly of themselves than Hamilcar does. The whole story is set of him telling a tale. So we know he survives at the end, but it's quite interesting, you know, everything he maybe is telling this story. Maybe some of the things didn't actually happen like they happened. As he's telling, you know, different parts to it, you can sort of see where he's aggrandizing himself, making himself seem larger than life. He's this character of like, Hamilcar, I once slew a beast bigger than the one you slew, and it really does lend itself to a quite funny and somewhat likable character. He is, for all his boastfulness and stuff like that, really, really likable as a character. Over the course of the story, though, things do change about Hamilcar. I would say he becomes a little bit more modest in certain situations over the course of the story. He definitely questions his courage and his skill and prowess at times, but I think he learns that, you know, boastfulness can't always get himself through every situation, or the effects maybe his boastfulness has on the general populace of the Mortal Realms and the cities of Sigmar. And so I think he does develop into, I guess, a bit more mature of a person over the course of the story. And there are definitely some parts of the story that really do hit hard and home with Hamilcar and things he learns. It really makes for an interesting character, you know. He remains still that very same core, but he definitely does have little bits and pieces of himself that do evolve and shows that, you know, his character can progress, which is, of course, important for an ongoing story. And so, what does the book do well? And I think it's the writing style and the way it's written for me that makes this book really fun to read. So, the entire story is talked about from Hamilcar's perspective, recounting the tale to you. And while this, I guess, does sound like a straightforward way to write, there are definitely ways this can go wrong if the author does not pay enough attention to giving detail to other characters in Hamilcar's story. And definitely when Hamilcar is telling his story to you, he really goes into detail explaining the words, explaining what other characters look like, and really giving you a sense of those other characters, which, even though this is written from Hamilcar's perspective, really does go a long way to making these other characters in the story come to life. They're really well fleshed out, and I think this is certainly what the book does well, in that it's written really well, in that it gives you all that information, even though those characters never actually have their own, set part of the story where they're always in the story because of Hamilcar. Who would like this book? And of course, Stormcast Eternal fans, you are going to like this because it is, a Stormcast Eternal's focused story. The main character is a Stormcast Eternal. But I feel like this is another character, like other recent stories we've had released, like the Cato Ezekiah, Drekkie Flint, and stuff like that. This is a story where you've got a main character anyone, I think, could sort of get on board with. He's a nice, boisterous, interesting character with a really fun story to tell you that, anyone could pick this up and have a good time enjoying Hamilcar Bear Eater and indeed his epic, or maybe not so epic, deeds. And so, in summary, this was fun and lighthearted at times, with parts that certainly had me laughing. There was a lot of humour, and I think that just comes across in the character that Hamilcar is. He is, this larger-than-life character, this boisterous person that, you can just laugh. There are some great scenes and some great lines from him in this. But it also did have times that were less happy emotions and even downright sorrowful emotions that took charge of the story. There are definitely a couple of heartstring pullers in there that I felt definitely sort of hit home, and none so more than one at the end of the book relating to Hamilcar's former life that I think was a great little nod and a great little heartstring puller that really did show Hamilcar in a great humanitarian light. Now, one of the best I've listened to this year, I think, by far. I put this up there with things like Drekkie Flint's novel, like Gloom's by... Yes, I know they're not all brand new novels, but these are the ones I've listened to this year. I think this is one of the best ones I've listened to this year from Black Library. 9 out of 10 for me, quite easily. If you've listened to Hamilcar, Champion of the Gods, read it, or whatever, let us know what you think down in the comments below. And so that is the end of the video. We hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our cool little community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so in our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. If you'd like to help support the channel, you can do so either by joining our Patreon or YouTube members, both of which are linked in the video's description, or going over to our channel merch store and grabbing some channel merch for yourself. We'd like to give our Patreons and YouTube members a special shout out for helping support the channel and allowing us to keep doing what we're doing. So a special thank you to our Patreons: Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lowe, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising 8, Cure Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek and Bloobs, and to our YouTube members as well: Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny 84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle and Davis Weir. And a special thank you to Lady Witchfox at the end here, because she does all the amazing artwork for the channel. It looks stunning. With that said, thank you all for watching once again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.